that bag of cash? Who wins the mentorship and coaching from some of Ghana's most successful entrepreneurs? Or who wins the bragging rights as Ghana's best entrepreneur from the most keenly contested prize on TV? Standing tall from a pool of over 7,000 applicants are 10 young and ambitious entrepreneurs with smart business ideas. All the action will be at the grand finale of the Magdan Entrepreneurship Challenge Season 1 on Friday, 21st of February 2020 at the National Theatre, 7 p.m. Now join us for the big event to learn who picks up the coveted prize, network with business people, and learn something new as well. To participate in the Magdan Magdan Challenge Season 2, you can visit www.magdanchallenge.com or you can call 055 8640 759. That's 055 8640 759. Magdan Entrepreneurship Challenge is brought to you by 10 Ghana and sponsored by the Magdan Foundation. So, do you want to swap your old vehicle for a new one? Sounds enticing, I should say. Well, come and do it at the CFAO Open House Fun Fair. It's the most exciting fun event to happen at any car showroom. Yeah, come for an exciting weekend of fun on the 25th and 26th of January 2020. Happening live at the CFAO Showroom Airport. Now get your vehicle diagnosis done for free. Get special offers on car purchases and after sales, celebrity test drives, live music, bouncy castles, video games for the kids, tire change competitions, and so much more. And also on Sunday, 26th of January, the fun continues with special motu and drinks for patrons. It promises to be a great event, so don't miss this for anything. This event is in partnership with Joy FM, Total Ghana, Bank of Africa, Alliance, and Cars 45. Remember, it is on the 25th and 26th of January 2020 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. You've got to be there.
Joy 99.7 FM
on Joy with Lexis Bill.
And late afternoon is snack time. Yeah, reward your hustle with Super Yogo. You have earned it. Go for more. Go for Super Yogo. Yeah. Enjoy Super Yogo, the new fortified frozen yogurt from Fan Milk. It comes packed with essential nutrients like vitamin B2, B6, and D, calcium, iodine, and phosphorus to give you more nutrition and natural goodness. Enjoy Super Yogo in two variants, natural, plain, or exciting zesty lemon. Get yours today from a Fan Milk vendor, supermarket, or petrol mart near you. Super Yogo. I love it. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I love Super Yogo. In actual fact, we had a ton of it at the walk the other day. Yeah, Dr. Osafo had some too. We actually have a picture with the whole family, everybody enjoying Super Yogo. Doc, have you seen that picture?
Oh, yeah.
You have seen that picture, that trending picture. Dr. Osafo, CEO of Medical Social, is here. Doc, Akwaba.
Kwame, shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah, true.
You went away. We've been here.
Yeah, I know.
So you're welcome.
Medase. Na Etre.
Oh, Jamiado Boko.
Etre Boko. Okay, Etre. Bibia, you okay?
Everything's fine.
Obia hoye. Obia yare.
A few injections here and there.
Doc, we call me Koprayo.
Oh. You should get some medical insurance claim quick. We just got
Atlantis Palm too.
Hey,
also they can be
heavy one.
Anyway,
we missed you last week.
I missed you guys more, but glad to be back, and we're on. Actually, I heard you started the conversation on anemia last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was actually getting updates all the way in the East, I should say.
Right.
So we continue today.
Yes.
Proudly brought to you by MTN. Choose your own bundle, your own way with MTN Flexi Bundle. Dial *138# and enjoy bundles that don't expire. You know, gone are the days when bundles came in just fixed offers. Now times are changing, and that's why we're giving you the freedom to choose your own bundle packages. Now, whether you want to bundle 3 pesos, 20 pesos, 20 CDs, 115 CDs, we're here for you. Just dial *138# or *170# and enter your own amount, and bingo, you're good to go. So go ahead and enjoy flexi bundles that don't expire. MTN, we do for you. MTN, everywhere you go. All right. So, what can I say? Folate or folate?
Folate.
Folate.
Okay. Today we'll go to school small.
Take me to school.
I have to bring this year. I haven't dropped any wild terms.
Yeah, I know, right?
Today I'm going to drop a few terms. The lawyers, I'll let them know that we too. we are the learned people. Learned people. News file that they are dropping their terms.
Oh,
so they will drop a few terms.
Okay, let's do it, Doc.
Right. So good afternoon to all our listeners, and it's good to be here another Wednesday. But before we start, I'd like to say congratulations to all those who are participating in the weight loss Cosmopolitan Mix weight loss challenge season 2. It's been absolutely amazing. I've just been so excited by the participation.
Okay.
The social media platform or the WhatsApp group that we have for members, those who are actively participating, it's just been.
Oh, people should add me. I want to also lose weight.
Query. Even Philip has been banned from posting meals there. You know, everybody eats. Whatever you eat, your meal, you have to share your meal plan with the dietitian. Share. You near grow.
Wow.
You know, so the watching that you are eating, if you post it,
you have to kick me out.
We have food police on the platform. You know? So we're encouraging everybody to eat right, to make the right choice, choices with regards to their meals. And then last week Saturday we met for the physical training
exercise
at Labadi Beach.
Wow.
And Kwame said,
so
congratulations to all those who are participating. It's a totally different lifestyle.
So what, are you losing weight or you're losing hair?
Oh, okay, let's talk anemia. Your body where you lose weight.
Maybe you're losing other things because
we have just monitoring.
You are monitoring, okay.
So last week we started a conversation about anemia, and most often people would hear people talk about, I've been to the hospital, doctor says I don't have enough blood, and people sometimes also equate it to low blood pressure if you don't have enough blood. So we're doing this 2-week series on anemia. And just to recap, anemia broadly is defined as a condition where you have insufficient number of red blood cells, or a situation where the oxygen carrying capacity of the red cells is inadequate to meet the body's demands. When that happens, then we would say the individual is suffering anemia. And I also mentioned last week that there are different types of anemia. Iron deficiency anemia is by far globally the commonest cause of anemia. You have anemia as a result of folic acid or folate, anemia as a result of vitamin B12, anemia as a result of chronic inflammatory conditions, anemia due to things like sickle cell anemia, and so on and so forth. So there are different types of anemia. So anemia is more of an umbrella term, and then we get down to the specifics. So yes, last week we talked about iron deficiency anemia, which is very common. So this week we're going to talk about another type of anemia, which broadly is referred to as megaloblastic anemia.
Right.
Megaloblastic anemia. So simply, it is anemia as a result of folic acid and vitamin B12 deficiency. These two vitamins are the commonest reasons why you have this type of anemia we refer to as megaloblastic anemia. It's not the only reason, but folic acid and vitamin B12. These two vitamins, like this, are important in the maturation, the development of red blood cells. So red blood cells will start maturing from the bone marrow before they move into the blood. And the whole maturation process needs folic acid and vitamin B12. And deficiency of either one of them will lead to a condition where the red blood cells look larger than normal, and they don't contain enough hemoglobin to be able to do the work that they're supposed to do, which is the oxygen carrying. So what are the sources of vitamin B12? Vitamin B12 is primarily found in foods of animal origin, such as liver, meat, fish, and then dairy products, milk, cheese, etc. You do not find vitamin B12 in plants or foods of plant origin, except they've been fortified.
Okay.
So if you go and pick any cereal and then you find out it has been fortified, it will contain vitamin B12 only if it has been fortified during the manufacturing process or processing of the food. But typically you would only find vitamin B12 in animal products. So vegans or vegetarians typically will suffer deficiency states, or we tend to find a lot more in vegans or vegetarians, just because it is primarily found in animal
products.
Yes. Sources of folic acid, however, then includes both animal sources and then plant sources. So you get it in liver, you find it in green leafy vegetables, contomere, boko boko, dandelion, and things like that, cabbage, lettuce. You find folic acid in there, but B12 will not be found in plant sources except they are fortified. A point I want to make about the folic acid, however, is that it is easily destroyed by cooking. So the way we cook in our part of the world, generally we like to boil things as if we are killing germs and all of that. So that tends to destroy a lot of the folic acid. So that's why we'll encourage you to just make sure the vegetables are just clean and at best steam the vegetables or eat them in a raw state, because then the folic acid gets destroyed. So somebody may be eating the right sources, but then the folic acid, because it is the green leafy vegetables are cooked and overcooked, then they get destroyed. So let's look at the what causes the deficiency. For B12, as I already mentioned, the main deficiency state occurs is nutritional. So those who are vegetarians, and I know a few people who are vegetarians, then they have to go for fortified cereals. Or yes, generally it's the cereals that are fortified. So because they are just sticking to plants, then they tend not to be able to get adequate vitamin B12. So either they do the supplementation or they get fortified meals. Malabsorption is also another reason why you will have problems with vitamin B12, or you have vitamin B12 deficiency. So vitamin B12 is absorbed in a certain part of the intestine, the small intestine. There's a specific portion of it where it is absorbed. And there are certain conditions that affect the intestines that will lead to deficiency states. All right. So some of them would include fish tapeworm infestation. So there's a worm that we call fish tapeworm. All right. And if you have, so generally people will say, oh, I have worms. But then there are different types of worms. So specifically, if you have fish tapeworm infestation, you can develop, it will affect your intestine, and you will have a malabsorption state where you cannot absorb, although you are eating enough of the vitamin B12. There are other disease conditions like pernicious anemia. And then most importantly, there's this thing we call gluten. Last week I mentioned this thing. It's found in wheat and barley. We didn't used to eat a lot of wheat and things like that as part of our porridge or breakfast meals. But now it's taking on a different dimension. It's a social status thing. People are eating a lot more wheat these days. Wheat contains that substance we call gluten. And some individuals react to gluten, and it causes an inflammatory reaction in your intestine, making it difficult for you to absorb not only vitamin B12 but folic acid and iron as well. So we've got to be careful about introducing gluten. These days, when you take a lot of the food that have been properly labeled, they would make a point about stating whether or not it contains gluten, and it is mandatory in other parts of the world. So these are primarily two main reasons why somebody would have vitamin B12 deficiency and therefore develop what we call the megaloblastic anemia or vitamin B12 anemia. It's mainly nutritional and then malabsorption. Same reasons can be adduced for the folic acid deficiency, but here the nutritional problems are as a result of old age, institutionalization. So when we talk about that, we're referring to people in prisons, for example. So there you eat what is provided. Secondary schools, boarding houses, we've all been there when we're boarding school. You go to the dining hall, what's provided is what you eat.
Gasso?
Except maybe you went to get a wig here. Then maybe they both how people will follow.
Come to protect their one Gasso now.
So institutionalization also it's a reason why people get poor or are deprived from folic acid, because it's common. If you don't eat the green leafy vegetables, the consumption is common. Poverty, then it's the other factor as well. People of the low socioeconomic class would also suffer as a result of that. Then the same malabsorption thing. When you have problems with your small intestine, so that you are eating right, but that portion of the small intestine that's responsible for absorbing the folic acid into your system, as we say it, is diseased, and therefore you are not able to absorb. When it comes to folic acid, there's also another point we need to make: excess utilization. When we say excess utilization, states like pregnancy, when a woman is carrying, then she's eating for two. It's true, literally. Whatever the woman eats, the growing baby would also absorb some of it. So folic acid is one of those things that the growing fetus needs. So the woman may become deficient if the baby is taking so much and she is also not eating enough.
Okay.
So during pregnancy, that's what we mean by increased utilization.
Right.
That the woman is using a lot more folic acid. The demand has increased, and she has to match it with the intake. Same in the breastfeeding period as well. So women who are pregnant and who are breastfeeding would need a lot more folic acid in their diet compared to those who are not. And then also breakdown states. People with sickle cell, for example, they tend to break down a lot of their red cells before they are fully matured, and they also tend to need a lot more folic acid to form new ones. So that's also a point. People who suffer from cancer, various types of cancers, also the cancer cells tend to utilize a lot more folic acid in their growth. So then the individual becomes deficient. So these are the states of increased utilization.
Okay.
And then lastly, loss of folic acid or folate in the urine. In individuals who, for example, have a condition we call heart failure. When you have heart failure, then you tend to lose a lot more folic acid.
Okay.
So these are the various ways by which the deficiency happens, and people develop what we call the folate anemia or vitamin B12 anemia.
If you have any questions, you can send us a WhatsApp on 0244340437, or you can call us actually on 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. How do you treat it if it's treatable? I know there's a drug called folic acid.
Yes.
That is very affordable.
Right.
Is that it?
Absolutely. I mean, before we get to the treatment, and the treatment is very, very simple. Let me just first talk about how do you recognize it? How would our listeners even know that or suspect that they have a megaloblastic anemia? Well, you would develop the general features of anemia, as I talked about last week: the fatigue on minimal exertion, sometimes dizziness, pica. As we talk about pica, this is the craving for non-food items. So people will be eating chile or ayilo, as they call it, the dirt, clay, chewing on ice cubes and things like that. We call those things pica. So you have all of those things. But specifically, those with this type of anemia, they tend to develop what we call a beefy red sore tongue.
Beefy red sore tongue.
Yeah, so beef. I mean, when you go and buy beef, how the color of beef, so your tongue becomes beefy red, more than what it usually is. So it's really, really red, and we call that description beefy red. And then it's sore. So you have sores all over your tongue, and it hurts.
Okay.
So we call that a glossitis. Today, the terms are coming.
A
glossitis.
Glossitis.
Yes, that's the beefy red sore tongue. Then they also have a condition where they develop sores at the angles or the corners of their mouth.
Oh.
Angular stomatitis. Dubai.
But it's not stomach, so why is it stomatitis?
No. That's why you come into the difference.
It's mouth, so mouth.
Well, stoma means mouth. Stoma. So it's a stomatitis.
Okay.
Also, at the source, at the corners of the angles of the mouth, as we call it. Then also, they tend to develop what we call a progressive neuropathy, which usually affects the hands and then the feet. So, like there's a lot of people who get numbness and tingling in their hands and feet. And then also, they have difficulty. Some will also later on develop difficulty in walking and maintaining balance. And they actually fall over in the dark. So, if you've been developing tingling sensation in your hands and numbness, people will say, "Anansi acheme."
Yeah.
That kind of feeling or sensation, you may be developing folate or vitamin B12 deficiency. And then very rarely, sometimes people develop blindness because the nerve that is responsible for the vision, which is called the optic nerve, is also involved. So these are the symptoms that people may have when they have vitamin B12 or folic acid.
Let me get on the phone line now. Hello?
Yes, correct.
Yes, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good too. Thank you. Welcome. Doctor is here.
Yes. But Kwame, you said when you travel, you go ahead. That's how they show Westland. Now, coach.
Also, yeah, then.
You now coach him or Westland. Not at work, brother.
Oh, me press me the coach him.
What practice the coach him? Yeah,
Until day.
It's not sure as going on. Doc.
Yes.
I have this concern. It has been there for quite some time. I've been to the hospital. I've spoken to a lot of doctors, but I don't know. If sometimes I experience palpitation of the heart.
Hello, Nana, your line is breaking. If you can take that again.
Palpitations of the heart.
Hello? I think the line dropped. But I got a message here, Doc, and you mentioned symptoms. So, Lexis, I have this sweet taste in my throat. It's been like this for a little over a month. Has it got anything to do with anemia?
Not quite. None of the different types of anemia will probably give you any of these sweet taste in the mouth. It will probably need a lot more interrogation, exploration of the history and its development. And different people may have to take a look. The dentists are the ones who primarily will look at things in the mouth, but not anemia. Most of the time, it will give you this glossitis. It has to do with the tongue, and it's beefy red, and then you have sores on the tongue.
Okay.
That one may be due to this vitamin B12 or folic acid. So I would advise him to maybe talk to us after the show, or get to see a dentist first to get an opinion.
0302216541. Hello.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I'm saying that I experienced this severe palpitation of the heart. I mean, it continues for quite some time. I get blackouts but I mean, I don't fall asleep. I have to sit down for some time, and me sitting down, actually, you see me sweating like profusely. So I have to sit down for a while before I get back to my normal self. Then I can go on with whatever I'm doing. I mean, just it goes and then it comes back, but it doesn't come like frequently. It comes in and say 3 months, 4 months. I experienced it, but this Monday where it was serious. Like I was waiting for Uber to come and pick me, and then like I'm standing there. You see me standing there sweating. Once you can see that, like I can't see anything at all. But my heart was palpitating like seriously.
Right. I would strongly recommend that you come in and a doctor will take a thorough history, do a thorough physical examination, and then take it forward from there. There are a number of different possibilities, and I don't think we can be helpful discussing this on radio. So
Okay.
after the show, you can reach out, and I'll be more than happy to see you.
Okay, sir. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you, Nana. Have a good day. Yeah. Ike in the USA is asking, what about oats? Seems wheat is close to oats. Do they also contain glutinous?
Right.
As
So
wheat.
not quite sure about oats, but the main sources of gluten: wheat, rye, barley, malt, and then what they call brewer's yeast. These
Okay.
are usually the common sources. So
Okay.
I'm not sure about oats, but wheat, rye, barley, malt in various forms, and then brewer's yeast. These are common sources.
Let's get on the phone line now. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, you're welcome. What's your
evening.
name?
Yeah, Amy from La Paz.
All right, Amy.
Hi,
Doctor's
Amy.
here.
Yeah, fine. Please, I'd like to know. Sometimes when you get married, the lady is advised to start taking folic acid to prevent whatever they call it, holding heart or something. Please, I'd like to know about that too. Is that okay?
Right.
Since you'll be expecting at any time,
Right.
to get pregnant. Okay.
Okay. All right. So very, very, very good question. Folic acid has other beneficial uses apart from its being involved in
Anemia.
maturation. Yeah, in anemia, it has other benefits for the development of the brain and then the spinal cord. All right. Very, very important. So the disorders of the spinal cord, we call it spina bifida. It's very common where there's a big hole and the spinal cord at the back doesn't develop properly.
You mean for adults as well?
No, for the growing fetus.
Okay.
All right. And all of these things happen before the first or during the first 6 weeks. And Lexis, in Ghana, most people wouldn't know they are pregnant until 2 months, 3 months later. Right. So you're not going to catch it if you come to the hospital after 1 month after you've missed your menses. And if you're pregnant, then a lot of the developmental things that are supposed to happen would have happened already.
Okay.
So these days, the public health policy is that we're either fortifying things like bread, flour with folic acid, so that all women of the reproductive age are encouraged to be on folic acid supplementation.
Okay.
That is, provided you are eating right, then you don't need that supplementation. But we can't guarantee. Like I said, folic acid is easily destroyed through cooking. So to be on the safer side, if you're a woman and you're in the reproductive age, and the risk of having abnormalities of the spinal cord with your fetus, then we'll put you on folic acid. So typically when they come to the antenatal clinic, then we put them on. But by that time, the first 6 weeks has elapsed, and the damage, if any, has been caused. So she's absolutely right. The advice is correct. And in other places, they just fortify things like bread with it so that...
Ishmael is actually asking how long can a pregnant woman take folic acid?
Actually, we want you to take it before the spinal cord is formed, which is the first 6 weeks. After that, then we are taking it because of anemia and not because of the spinal cord formation, because that's done already.
Okay.
Then we are giving it, or we give it throughout the pregnancy, because most women in our part of the world have been determined to suffer both iron deficiency anemia and folic acid anemia. So routinely we give it to all patients who come to the antenatal clinic. But there are good dietary sources of folic acid, and would encourage people to eat well and cook foods properly and not to overboil things, because you easily destroy the folic acid.
So Kitty in Tema says, Doc, please, I'm experiencing tingling and numbness in my thighs and legs. Sometimes after walking for a short distance, I feel as though there's no strength in my legs. What could it be, and what kind of food can I eat to stop it?
Right.
What kind of food can you eat to stop it? Really? No, what kind of drug can you take? Kitty, you just want to eat.
Well,
Anyway.
Kitty, it could be a number of different things. So I did mention that if you have vitamin B12 and folic acid deficiency, it can give you what we call this progressive neuropathy, where you have this numbness and tingling in both hands and then the legs and then the feet. So it could just also be that your spine is not in the right position, alignment with your spinal cord, and that's why you're having the tingling. So she should come in. We will check. We'll do a simple test we'll know what her blood level looks like and whether or not she has folic acid anemia. If it's folic acid or vitamin B12 anemia, it's easy to correct. We will give you folic acid supplementation, and you hit the nail on the head. It costs nothing to put somebody on folic acid. Sometimes, because of the amount people have to pay, they even query the effectiveness or the efficacy of the drug. They say, oh, this thing is too cheap. Yeah, that's how cheap it is. And folic acid costs nothing. Vitamin B12, relatively more expensive than the folic acid, but again, it costs very, very little. So she should come in and then we'll check her out.
I think what's more important is if you have any of these symptoms or you're not sure, just call the doctor. Dr. Elsafo and his team at Medical Hospital are ever willing to speak to you.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you'd want to give us your contact numbers for those who want to get in touch.
So 0501 477 340. 0501 477 340. You can come to us at Mount Point Campim or Firestone, Medina.
Dr. Elsafo is CEO of Medical Hospital. Thank you so much, Doc.
You're welcome.
We had a megalo